Hey guys, before we start, a quick shout out to Alpha Dog Nutrition for sponsoring this podcast. Alpha Dog products are now available at dusupply.com, and you can use code ALPHADOG15 at checkout for 15% off and a credit for free shipping to try it yourself. Now let's get you to your podcast. Did you cry?
No, but I wanted to.
Right?
I was like, man, I'm gonna.
It's like you're tipping your head back, like, oh God, son, something's right here.
The first time I watched that movie was Idaho, and
Eastern Idaho, right?
And man, I'm telling you what, man, I'm not a traveling person. Like, there's times where I do a lot of reflecting on family and stuff like that. And so, like, I watched some stupid movie on the airplane, and I couldn't tell you what movie it is, and I'll just start thinking about my family and stuff, and be like, dude, I'm like ready to fight and cry. I'm like, dude, what the hell happened? Like, I'm like, what is this emotion shit? And my daughter. Between my wife and my daughter, they've broken me down now. I'm like, oh. And so
it happens.
No, that movie, it definitely, and I didn't get to watch the whole thing this morning, but I watched it twice. I watched it in Idaho, Eastern Idaho, had a deal on it, and in Colorado was a showing on it. And so both times, goosebumps. I mean, just, yeah, like, it did connect with me and gave me like goosebumps. Like, I'm like, what I worry and what I don't know is, I mean, it deeply connects with us. Anybody that hunts with a dog, like I was. So we're talking about the Lionheart movie for those people listening. And what I would encourage you to do is go to YouTube and look up Blood Origins, Lionheart. Go to W's Facebook. I mean, it's getting shared all over the place.
We'll put it in the comment or in the
put a link in
episode
for this
notes.
Episodes. But they did a really good job, like, on portraying the messaging and telling our story, and doing it in a way that connects. And what I don't know is how well does that connect outside of our community? You know what I mean? Like, I do know that it's a really good, for those who like hound hunting, it's really good, really good. Like, it was designed not necessarily for us that, are hound hunters or houndsmen, but it was more designed as a story for everybody else trying to find a way to explain and tell our story. And so that's the part where the jury's out. Right?
What's the conversion rate?
Yeah. Because it can't hurt, and it doesn't hurt. Like, it absolutely doesn't hurt. I think it's absolutely good. But in this society of short attention spans, I'm like, is that story too long?
Yeah, who would have thought we'd be talking about is what? It's 30 minutes, 35 minutes?
37 minutes, yeah, 30. Yeah.
But we're used to 2, 3 minute, 5 minute,
Instagram scrolling. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Anyways, I'm happy it's out. I wanted to do a video like that years ago, like 5-6 years ago. And I talked to a couple people. I just never followed through. Never put it together. And I'm glad I didn't, because it would have been, compared to that, I would have been like, well.
They did let me kill my phone. Sorry. They did a good job, because I know through the whole thing, I mean, it's kind of like being a musician. You listen to music way different. Like, you're trying to analyze everything. So I'm watching it, and my biggest criticism usually is it corny? Like, trying to connect us to people. It just, I don't know, to do it professionally takes professional talent. Yeah. And I think they did a really good job where, like, me as a houndsman, I can watch that and it honestly kept me connected and watching. And like, you have those moments of like the goosebumps and, you know, you feel the emotion because we've experienced it as houndsmen. So we can relate on a way different level.
Yeah.
But I feel the fact that it didn't get cheesy, like a lot of videos out there, was a real talent. And I think with a certain group of people, it will definitely convert some people and make them think. Your hardcore antis aren't going to get 2 minutes into it. The general public, I think it will appeal to.
Yeah. And so what I'm asking folks to do is, everybody that's listening, this is a really good opportunity for us. Number one, go watch that video. And number two, share that video, because it's not meant like it's awesome. Like us,
it's not a brag.
Yeah. But you know, I mean, like, we enjoy it but we need to get, if every person listening to this podcast or on our social media or whatever could share that. And let's just say five of their family members, friends who don't quite get a houndsman, you know what I mean? Like they support it, but they just don't fully understand it, right? They don't get that desire inside of us, that why we do this. They think we're crazy. We may be crazy.
We are.
But we are. But if each person could just get 5 people and be able to explain it better than we can with words, you know what I mean? Because that's the hard part is somebody's like, well, why do you do that? And it's like, well, because I like dogs. You know, like,
I like dogs, period.
That's all I come up with. I'm like, well, I like really like dogs. Like really, can I use really twice? Or, I mean, if I use it 3 times, do you get it? How much
like,
I like
not
dogs?
only is this a daytime thing, this is like, every waking moment of every day.
You know, did I mention I like dogs? Because that's why I do this.
Well,
so
like you and I've talked before, you said like, maybe we might have to cut this part. I doubt it, but
that's what you're going to name this podcast. I like dogs.
I like dogs.
That's the title for this podcast, Jason.
That ought to hit the search.
I like
dogs podcast. We're gonna have 20,000 downloads on this one in the first day.
I like dogs. No, like really, really like dogs. Yeah. So, yeah, like, that's the cool part about it, is somebody with some talent took some time to go follow and capture the story and explain it and show it in a real manner. You know what I mean? Like it is not.
That took some time to get that footage. I guarantee it, because that wasn't a quick one-day trip.
No, it wasn't. There was several trips and stuff in there.
It had to be.
And so, yeah, the cool thing for like, one of the things that I think was really cool is like looking at that showing and going, oh, they're customers. That's a customer. That's a customer. Knowing those people personally,
right?
Is like, man, we have a really cool community. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just some movie star that, you know, made this movie or whatever. It's like, no, these are people inside our circle. They're real people. They're real feelings. They're real connections. So
good humans.
Yeah.
I say that all the time. I just want, my goal in life is to raise good humans. You know, I got 4, so hopefully one of them turns out. But you see those guys and gals, and it's you know the kind of people they are, because we've dealt with them for so long. I've said it lots of times. I'm glad I've gotten to know these people over the years, because they are salt of the earth people and a great representation.
Yeah.
And we talk to them all the time, which is fun.
Yeah, that part was cool. So yeah, they just launched it. We're recording this Wednesday. They just launched it today. Lionheart by Blood Origin. Go watch that video, and I'm sure most people already have. You know, make sure you can watch it when you have time. You know what I mean? Like,
give it your attention.
Yeah, don't watch it at work, because so many distractions. Like I told Jason, I was like, just
Unless
finish
you're
watching
me.
that movie, you know. And
I watched 10 minutes in the first 2 hours of work this morning between calls. And then I'm like, I gotta watch this.
You're
Yeah. I had something in my eye, man.
Just Jason, give me a minute, please.
I'm not afraid, man. And it's so funny because Danny, she gives me crap all the time. She's like, all you guys are the same. You're all big softies. Because she sees everything people write in and these poems and, you know, videos like this. It's like she knows because she lives with it. But it's an emotional thing, man. I can feel that as my boys are asking me to go hunting tonight and I hear stories of the memories made on the mountain and I'm on the fence about letting them go or not. I'm not going to lie. Lionheart just might have got them boys a hunt tonight. You know, it makes you appreciate what we really do. Cause I think we get so caught up in it. Sometimes we know we're doing good and we know we're doing what we enjoy. But when you watch it from that perspective and it hits at so many points, it's like a re-realization of what we really do dedicate.
Another good video that I actually shared, was it last week that came out, was the Bart George.
Is that the one with Cody?
Yeah, Cody Lostro.
Yeah.
I don't know who did that one. Did Blood Origins do that one too?
I don't know. That's what I was wondering.
I think they might have. So that's another one to go watch, which would be, where would they find that? I'm looking here on my phone because I wanted to. It was done for Colorado, I think. Colorado Houndsman. Let me take a look and see if they have a name for that. So if you go to Colorado, United Houndsmen of Colorado's Facebook page, there's a short film that was done for them. Yeah, thanks Blood Origins for producing and thanking everyone involved with this educational effort. So basically kind of like an educational video. And they went up and traveled up to Washington, you know, to pal around with Bart George, which we need to get him on the podcast.
Speaking of Bart, you've been saying that for 5 years. Yeah. I got him to send me some photos. He sent some cool photos from a lion research.
Yeah.
But
yeah, we need to get him on the podcast. His study should be getting close to being published. I'm not sure when, but I know we're close. I didn't want to bring him on because I want the data to be aggregated.
Be able to talk about it too.
Yeah, I didn't want to jump the scientific process, you know, which is like you collect the data and then it's easy to dive in that data and look at it and go, oh yeah, this is what it means. And it's like, nope, let it go through the process. Let it go through a peer review process. Where you know, non-houndsmen, people without, unfortunately, I have an agenda. So
are you biased, buddy?
I'm biased. When I look at the data, I'm like, oh yeah,
I like dogs.
Yeah, exactly.
I really, really like them.
I like dogs. So, you know, just letting that go through the process. And so that's kind of why I haven't pushed that hard, is because I'm like, man, I would rather the peer review all have happen to see the data come out and go, hey, here's the unbiased results. Here's the data. Give it to somebody, and somebody else aggregates that data and says, here's what the conclusion is, right? And so I've just been really cautious that there's anecdotal data that I've seen, and I've seen enough to go, I'm confident cougar behavior changes after pursuit, you know, non-lethal pursuit. I've seen enough that I'm comfortable with myself saying that. Now, to say that on a big scale, you know, with the limited number of cats that I've seen, they would just tear me up and go, oh, well, you've seen this many. Okay, well, Bart's got a big set of data, you know what I mean? And so the more data, the more robust the statement can be. And so I just want to see what, you know, if there's measurements, if they come up with, you know, statistical analysts that says, okay, this is what happens or whatever. And then we could look at that and go, okay, let's create a plan based off of data. So anyway, so why I haven't had Bart on here.
I
You know what I mean? Like, I want to see that data. I want to stay out of the unbiased rules. You know what I mean? And I don't want to taint Bart's study because he's going to have some heavy naysayers that are going to try to critique him. You know what I mean? Like there's going to be people who try to take his study down because it's not going to say what they want, right? They got their bias. Mm-hmm. And so I just don't want, I don't want to taint his study with bias because of the footprint that we have and being a hound hunting business. You know what I mean? Right. I'm just really careful to make sure that I stay out of that process. You know what I mean? I could help him. I help him with the technology and all that stuff and that, but I don't want to be a part of the data analysis because of my bias. Right. So once that's settled, once we get that published, we need to get him on, rather head up there, go hunt or what. But anyways, I've digressed. Cody Lostro went up there and they did a short video, an educational video, which really showed the impact of hounds, you know what I mean? And the studies of how hounds are used professionally, you know, for studies and dogs. And I'd have to watch it again because I'm a forgetful guy. So I don't want to speak too much on the messaging. It was really powerful on that standpoint. Again, I'm the core audience, so I look at it and go, okay, yeah, like preaching to the choir, right? It's always going to resonate with me. I'm like, yeah, that's right. So watch that video too, and you get the opportunity to share that video. That would be great. You know, so those are 2 videos that are coming out right now, which just do a really good job of explaining these blood origin guys are not houndsmen. You know what I mean? They're not hunters.
Right.
They may be hunters, but not houndsmen.
Not houndsmen.
And they're doing a really good job of feathering the clutch for us, right? Because, you know, again, they ask us why we do this, and we're like,
I like dogs.
I like dogs. I don't know. I don't
but that's
know
what
why.
we've needed for so long. And that that's, I know, like a personal goal is to elevate hounds in a professional way, right? Mm-hmm. Like that was a professional production. That thing should be hitting. I mean, I'm sure they're going to hit the short film tours and whatnot, but a real quality job. And it shows a good message. Like that's the problem. Everybody with a cell phone can get a picture or a video. Yeah. But it's different when there's a storyline and it is art. I mean, really, the way they put that together, maybe I'm way too deep on it, but I could tell by the staff, like with the people they had lined up, I had an idea in my mind what it would be like. And it was pretty dang close as far as like the feel of the video.
Yeah, no, they did a really good job. Like, and I don't think it was intentional. I was talking to Hunter over at in Colorado. You know what I mean? After we watched it, Hunter's in the video. I said, man, you guys, you know, he's a pretty. We need to get him on the podcast. I said this before too. Mm-hmm. I have a specific podcast I want to talk to him about, but I don't want to say it on the air. But anyways, I already told him. I said we need to do one. You know. Anyways, I was sitting there BSing with him in Colorado, and I said, man, you guys, the cool thing was, and I don't know, like I'm such an analytical person, like I'm like deep in the weeds, like
you don't say.
Like polling, you know what I mean? Like presidential polling. I'm like watching 47, 48, 48 and a half. I'm watching it. I'm like, I'm looking at the analytics of this presidential race. And my mind's blown, but I just dissect things analytically. So as I'm watching this video, my mind is just like dissecting it, you know what I mean? And I'm like, I told Hunter, I said, you know, the cool thing is, you know, everybody out in society, this Yellowstone craze, you know what I mean? I was like, oh, Yellowstone, I want to be a Montana cowboy. And I said, you guys, they kind of touched, I don't think they did it intentionally, but they kind of touched on that a little bit where they're like saddling up and I'm like, oh shit, we're going to battle. You know what I mean? Right on.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like they touched on some of that, you know, the emotion. They did it on several different features, which starting out with the girls was just perfect with girls and puppies. I'm like, God, who doesn't like girls and puppies, right? Like me. I like dogs. I like girls
and puppies.
and
You
puppies.
don't like puppies. That's a lie.
Puppies help get the girls and the dogs. You got to get
we
the
like
puppies
other
to get the
people
girls and the
having
dogs.
puppies. Well,
But I said they kind of touched on that little cowboy, and I don't know if it'll resonate. I just don't know. But I'm like, they
it would be hard not to, given the people they had. You know what I mean? Like, that's them every day. That's not a
guys. Can you just like feminize it a little bit more? Could you just tell them this? It was good. Like I said, I just analytically look at it and go, man, it moved our group. You know what I mean? Like, I think our group's going to be going nuts over it, sharing it, whatever. I've seen a couple of the shares this morning. They're taking off, and I know it's going to do great for us.
Absolutely.
And hopefully each person that does share it is thinking that, we're trying to get it outside of our group. You know what I mean? This is a really good opportunity to get this one step outside of our group, 2 steps outside of our group. You know what I mean? Everybody that has Facebook, you have how many friends you have. Most of them are not houndsmen. You know what I mean? Like maybe half. You know what I mean? On an average, Facebook feed, right. There's a lot of non-houndsmen. So yeah, I would say most is probably houndsmen on our feeds, right? Because that's
right. Like as houndsmen, that's what I'm saying. But
there's a good percentage of non-houndsmen that lurk. You know what I mean? Like I look and I see family member over in Massachusetts and Florida and Colorado, and you know what I mean. I'm getting these, and I'm like, that's not a houndsman. That's my hunting buddy for elk. That's, you know what I mean. Like, right. Even in my core group, I have a lot of people around me on Facebook that are not houndsmen. You know what I mean? Right. They understand me. They know houndsmen, and so I'm hoping that those people can gate the next level out and go, oh, if we could get a couple of those people to watch and get connected on this 40-minute video. And
that's why we share it. I mean, we've already familiarized our feeds with, like, they know who we are. They know what we do. Like, whether they're in it or not, they know it.
Yeah.
And get it out there.
But to give a little better messaging than I like dogs is a good.
I like dogs.
I like dogs. We can just go back to that. So, anyways, if you're listening, watch this Blood Origins. Thank you, Blood Origins. I mean, I really want to say, really good job on that video. And
he said he would come on too.
Yeah, we should try to get him on.
We've kind of been like, I've been in talks with him and Dan through this whole thing, and just said, hey, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say that, we know that they're super busy, but they know that this is always a platform they have. And they had mentioned, as times get closer, we may have to set something up and record. But I would like to get Robbie on. He's a cool dude.
I need to, I'd like to let's do sequel. I'm going to do a video. I wanted to do a video. And now I don't know what the video is going to be. I'm like, well, let's do something again.
It's a lot of work. I just took a film guy with me, like, because I can't do all that, obviously. Mm-hmm. It's like, it's a production. I mean, this thing has been in the works for quite a while now.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So
check it out. Lionheart.
Lionheart by Blood Origins. And then there's another one, United Houndsmen of Colorado. A video there that they did a short. That's a much shorter video with Bart George and biologist, talking about the dogs and getting to use the dogs and in the face of Colorado, it's just really important right now. So I mean, Colorado's taken all the attention, but it is important that we
That's where we
on the
need it right now.
bigger scale. You know what I mean? Like, this is not just about Colorado. You know what I mean? Like, Colorado desperately needs this message to get out to their voters. And so it's really important to try to make sure that we don't take any attention away from Colorado. But this is a much bigger vision. Like, you know what I mean? This goes everywhere. You know, this is something that we have to get better at telling our message and our story, and you know, figuring out how to do that. This is one way that's just a unique way that I got better than saying I like dogs. So I mean, that's it. A few more
so
words.
instead of I like dogs, it's more like,
hey,
the dogs
this.
are the air in my lungs and I can't live without.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
so check it out. I'll put the link in the episode notes. I'll try to get both of them. That won't
find both of them. Get the thing there.
But yeah, thanks for letting me watch a movie this morning. It was like sitting in class and they roll in the cart with TV, and I'm like, yeah, we're gonna hang out for 30 minutes.
Before we do our podcast, we were supposed to do the podcast. I said, watch the video before the podcast. I was like, the teacher coming to be like, it's movie day. It's work today, Jason.
Yes. Love movie day. Oh, well, we can lighten it up. I shared one of our posts from the main W feed over into the podcast group.
What's that?
Dude, it cracked me up. It was like the things houndsmen annoy. Let me try to find the exact wording on it. But it was like things houndsmen do that annoy you as a houndsman, right?
Things houndsmen do that annoy you.
Right. So
oh, man.
I'm going through this list and I was just laughing. Because some of them were really good and really serious. Some of them were absolutely hilarious.
Okay, I haven't seen this post.
So I just picked like a half dozen for some comedic factor here. Okay. So I'm gonna read them to you, and then we can discuss. I want your like blind reaction on these. Where is it?
Don't tell me.
And I'll tell you who it is afterwards.
No, after.
After.
All right.
And some of these guys, I know some are customers.
I'm sorry if I offend you.
No, he's not.
Okay.
He don't care. Let's see here. All right. Not giving credit or respect when it's due. This is a two-parter. So that part, yeah, that's legit. I see that a lot. Let their dogs bark when they're tied out at an event.
Oh, man.
And I knew that one would hit you.
That's the reason I stopped going to events.
That's why I go to field trials and Buddy doesn't. And I hate it too.
Dude, like you can't park anywhere near the vicinities. Like, no, I don't know. Yeah, I definitely agree on that one. 100% on the second part. The not giving credit. Yeah. It depends. I don't give credit to the dogs, the right dog sometimes. Like, you know,
until something happens and you're like, oh yeah, I guess I probably
you gotta do it 3 times. They're like, that was an accident. You'll
yeah,
bitch. That was not on purpose. That was accidental. That was not a good catch. That was an accident. And
accidental catch.
You got to do that a couple times. So yeah. I'm guilty. So I'm like, but I just don't give my dogs the right credit. They'll do good, and I'm like, that wasn't very good.
Yeah, you their own worst critic.
Yeah.
So that was our buddy Josh Michaelis. Because I know when he was parked at Autumn Oaks, he had dogs barking right under his camper all night.
Oh. I'm ready to make dogs they're like other people's dogs. I'm like, shut up. Like, yeah. That used to drive me absolutely nuts at a field trial. Like,
pack extra bark collars to loan out.
It's just all the dogs barking. Just barking. Like, and I get that it's natural for them, but I'm like, dude, your dog is just barking right now. Just to bark. And nobody's doing anything about it. Everybody's just acting like it's normal.
Like it's not even happening.
That's the part that really is, I'm like, is nobody else hearing this? Like, is this
right?
Do I need to be here? I mean, what? We're just going to let these dogs bark like this? Like,
for no reason. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I tell people, it's a tool. Their voice is a tool. And if they're not working, I really don't want to hear it.
Anyway.
Which there was another comment by, I'll say his name because it's the same topic, but Kurt Stoll. He says, letting their dogs bark in the box nonstop with no reason and without correcting them. which goes a little deeper. Like, I haven't hunted with you much at all, but if you're driving around, I'm assuming if they're barking, it's because they're rigging. Like, you don't probably put up with a whole lot of babbling. Like just driving around and dogs being noisy.
Yeah. I'm gonna plead the fifth. I don't tolerate that. Like,
yeah.
There's times where I may stop the truck and I look at them. I'm like, "Are you?" They look at me like, "Oh,
do you really want to do this today?
Do we really want to go through this today? Like, this is like the fifth coyote we've struck. You know what I mean? Like, are you sure?" Because I'll let them out a lot, I'll let them down, and then they'll pop back up. And a couple of times they'll bark, and then they don't get off the box, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, you're starting, you little bastards."
Yeah.
So
I think he's talking about just driving down the road.
No,
though.
I
like,
know, in the box.
I hate that.
Yeah, I don't even like dogs barking if I start a race. You know what I mean? Like other dogs maybe trailing, and that can be really difficult to control, especially if you have, like I'll give some leeway to some bear dog. I'm not a bear guy, really, but if you got 8 dogs in there, 6 dogs in there, it takes a lot of effort to make those 8 behave, and not the same thing with a field trial. You know what I mean? Like, that's the whole reason they bark at a field trial, is because it's not because all those dogs are just idiots. It's because one dog starts it and then the next dog, and it just turns into a group think. And so I'd give some, I would at least acknowledge, somebody like that, a guy like me with 2 dogs in the box, with 2 dogs running a track. It's easier to control my 2 dogs without barking than it is, having, 5 dogs running a track and 6 dogs in the truck and 3 trucks lined up with, piles of dogs sitting there. Yeah. Like that group think is going to start happening. So like, it annoys me, but I can also sit back and go,
you can analyze.
I can analyze how it happens. Right. I still don't like it. And it's just more effort, and who knows? I probably would be lazy too. You know what I mean? It's like I get tired, but that's a lot of work.
Oh, there was another one that tied kind of into that too.
Did I say I like dogs?
You did say you like dogs.
It doesn't sound like it anymore.
They're the breath in your lungs.
What happened to this podcast? You're like, oh yeah, we're going to talk about barking dogs. I hate the barking dogs.
I just found it funny, and we had the feel good stuff in the beginning, and some of these were pretty good. And we've had a lot of people wanting us to do some more topic based stuff.
Yeah.
And I also don't want to spend an hour talking about one of these, so this is a lot easier way to do it. And there's going to be good ones that I just have
like
separated
you set me
out.
up. I feel like I've been set up. Like, oh yeah, we're talking. I like dogs, and then all of a sudden you tell me all the things I don't like about dogs.
We know you like more than you don't like about that.
Not after this podcast. We might not say that.
This one hits home for me. I'll take the bullet on this one if you want.
All right.
So the ones who never bring them, talking about the hounds, and will constantly claim a little more work and I'll bring them. Says, I'm not out here with you for competition. If you need help with something, I'll help you or your dogs work on something. I'd rather help a friend than worry about a hunt. Like, there's a lot in there, because I totally agree with him. That's Ryan Chase had commented.
This is annoying you?
Yeah, it's basically saying he's annoyed by the guy who says, yeah, I'll bring the dogs when they're a little better. Like, when they're ready. Like, they're not worthy enough to go, or... Does that make sense to you? No. I'm that guy. Okay, I am that guy, because I get invited to go hunt all the time.
And you're just afraid to take your dogs?
Well, afraid's a little rough. I don't want to say afraid, but I think a lot of people have the assumption, like Ryan, that it's like, oh, well, they're just not ready and they need help. But like me personally, I've spent a lot of time avoiding hunting with people. Because I knew what my dogs were needing at that time, and I knew where they were at. So I didn't want to throw them in with anything out of their normal program.
See,
it's like,
this is where I just don't go hunting with you. Like, if I can't take my dogs,
Right.
we don't go. Like, this is where I'm like, you're like, hey, you want to come watch my? Nope, I don't. Nope, I'm good.
What he's saying is he wants the guys to bring the dogs instead of saying, oh, they need more work. I'll bring them when they're ready.
Yeah, but you're talking about you. You said you were that guy.
Yeah, I don't like.
So you're going to go with somebody, but you're going to leave your dogs. Is what I took that as.
Oh yeah, I will a lot of times.
Yeah,
I'll leave dogs home.
That's where I'm not.
Right.
That's
me and Brandon go nights all the time. Like, I'll leave dogs home, or he'll leave dogs home, and we go analyze each other's dogs and go hunt with guys and leave them home.
And that's like cool. I get it. If you want to go analyze dogs, whatever. I just want to go. I just want to go spend some time in the woods with my dogs. I don't get enough time to do that anyways. And so it's nothing that I think, oh, I don't need the help. Or I don't need, like, I'm not like any great person or my dogs are any better. If I leave my dogs at home, that's one day they don't get out. And
sure.
And I just look at it like, hey, yeah.
End up with this one. Mr. I'm going to butcher the last name, I'm sure. Nick Murwoski. If you don't take every opportunity you have to hunt, you end up with this. And he says, call a 5-year-old dog's puppies that need another bear, which we've joked around about the 2-year-old puppies constantly.
Yeah. Yeah. 5-year-olds is a little bit older. But
that's pushing the envelope. That's funny though, because people equivocate age with experience, and you are the factor there. Like, you are the factor on the experience that dog gets, whether it's a year old or 5 years old, right? Like, a 5-year-old dog that has the experience of a 1-year-old does not make it a puppy. I will agree with him there.
Yeah. No, that I can definitely see. Again, it's each their own. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't go hunting with that person. You know what I mean? That's where I'm like, okay,
but he's a loner.
Have a good day. Like, this is what I tell. If somebody goes with me, and it doesn't happen very often, but the number one thing I tell them is I hope you got a handle on your dogs, because if you don't, there's going to be a time where, like, I'm going to get my dogs and I'm going to keep going hunting. You know what I mean? So if they just go off in the woods and they don't come back because we try to start a cat or we try to do something and they go dicking around in the woods, you need to be able to get them back. Like, because I will drop you off and I'll come back for you later. And I don't know when later is, but like, I came here to hunt. I didn't come here to chase dogs and call dogs. And I've been in those situations, and there's my annoying.
See, you should have been commenting.
I should have. I was like, not having a handle on a dog, like, especially with somebody, because I'm like, that's my number one deal is if that dog is not ready to be in the woods, I will leave it. And I do that with my own puppies too. You know what I mean? Like, if they start dicking around, I'm going to take off. And normally I'm watching them and I'm tracking them, and I'll go hunt around, and by the time they have to trail me for 3 miles, they can't trail a F-350 and 4 dogs. I'm like, well,
I'm probably not going to trail that cat real well.
We might have a little difficulty here, but like, that would be my deal. Is I just want to handle so that we can pick up and go if we need to go. So, anyways,
that is one thing. I'm going to bounce back to what. Like with the Lionheart movie, I think they portrayed really well is everybody's handle on those dogs. I'm not trying to ping pong, but that stood out to me. And I knew that their dogs handled that way anyway, but for that to be represented, I think is really, really good.
Yeah, exactly.
That was it. There was a few more. I'm going to keep looking through some of these though, because there are some that I thought would be like good podcast topics.
Yeah,
and I'd like to start
We need to
involve in
get
the
some more
listening
input on podcast topics and try to, now that we have the space to be able to record a little easier and quicker. We should.
Yeah. Well,
Where are we at? 39? We're at 40 minutes. We're not going to be able to go too long today because I've got a busy schedule.
Yeah, we got stuff.
Yeah.
Takeaway notes. Share Lionheart's video.
Share
from Blood
the
Origins.
Lionheart video from Blood Origins. Go find and watch and take a look at the one for United Houndsmen of Colorado with Bart George. That video was pretty good. And don't let dogs annoy you.
But
we
he
like
likes
dogs. We like dogs. So.
All right, let's get back to work.
Yes. All right, Jason. We'll talk soon.